I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:12. Apologies for the late start. First item of business is to recognize our traditional territories. We acknowledge that the land on which the fallen Firefighters Memorial Task Force meets today is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Acknowledging this as a reminder that our great standard of living is directly related to the resources and friendship of Indigenous peoples. Okay, any additions or amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll have a motion to approve the agenda, please. Moved by Chief Upper, seconded by the Mayor. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Sorry about that. Pardon me. Should put that on silent. Okay, so motion to adopt the minutes of the previous meeting, which was held on Tuesday, February 25th. It was the last time we were together. The minutes were circulated yesterday. We need a motion to approve them, please. Chief, seconded by Councillor Lindell. All those in favor, and that is carried. Any declarations of interest? Seeing none, no invited guests, we will move to business. So just a little preface for everybody. Basically, I've been trying to keep everybody in the loop via email, and but I thought it would be beneficial to just do a summary of exactly where everything is at. And because the vast majority of the work is kind of done, and sort of present where we're at from a this task force perspective, also from the contractor's perspective, and then we can certainly talk about any other items versus following a set agenda. These things will all be covered under a fulsome update. So Lori and I finally got a chance to meet one-on-one. Given how busy she is, we had to do it on a Saturday at her offices. So, but we did get a chance to spend a couple hours together and really go through everything, and just get completely on the same page with all the various sponsorships and items that need to sort of get executed. So, by the way, the market was packed. I didn't realize how busy that was. That's an aside. So parking was fun. Anyways, so just by way of recap, you'll recall that we had basically three plus one tiers of participation in outside from fundraising in particular. So I'll give you a quick recap of that. Tier one, which was basically the large wall. The wall will have the name of the park on one side and the donors recognized on the other. So we ended up with 7 participants in this, 5 of which were the conventional, which was priced at $50,000. Actually, one which was Mayor Senzik's golf tournament, put in 65 against that. The other 4 were in at 50, which was, of course, the Firefighters Union, O'Hara Trucking, Rankin, and Brian Cullen Motors. In addition to that, Cooper Wealth Management contributed $25,000. So that is being moved to the flagpole area. And in all cases, and I'll move back and forth a little bit between what we organized on the contractor meeting and what we sort of, this by way of summary here. So because the chief and Lori and I met with the contractor as well on a couple of occasions. So this was an improvisation on the large sponsorship. So the flagpole area will now carry its own 8x20 black granite for Cooper Wealth. So that's how we had that. The 7th one there was CFC Supply, which is their former name. I can't remember their name now. that the contractor is, and they donated if you recall, a bronze sculpture on a pedestal. It's a hat and gloves that they've donated, and there's 4 panels on that pedestal. Next was the trees and benches. We had targeted 9 trees and 6 benches. We've sort of landed on 13 of those. And uh, all except 2 we've either collected on. There's a couple of follow-ups. I did have one quick follow-up specific, Ryan, for you, if you're still with us, which was, is he still on? That's Mark, right? Yeah. Which was Steve Bridges' widow. I can't remember where you landed on that one. That was one for me to follow up on. Do you remember that?
Ooh. And yeah, that's been an ongoing thing over kind of an extended period of time.
Okay.
And so what I was able to find out is that she gave $5,000 to somebody with the city. And that's what I could find out for you.
Okay, so we'll take that under advisement, Lori will, and we'll see if we can track that down. And I just didn't know if there'd been, it's the one thing I haven't asked you about in a few months. So I just wanted to catch an update on it because it fell into that
No,
category.
the chief brought that to my attention about a
Yeah,
week
yeah.
ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and I looked into that, and that's the answer that I got, is that was $5,000 donated to the city, and there's no further details I can get on my end.
Okay. Okay. It's fine. And I'm just moving along. We had the bricks. We ended up selling approximately 75 bricks in total through the various website and other initiatives we had. And then we did the initiative with the St. Catharines Club membership, which was 140 members at $50,000 that were contributed to those bricks. Um, and then the last one was everybody else, basically. So these are people that put in $1,000 here or $1,000 there. Somebody raised money. Kim Bertrand raised money through a marathon. And so we have that total as well. Before I sort of get to use of funds for all of that beyond their, I want to give you a total. So tier 1 came in at, and this is all either uh, collected in the bank or committed to through a one of those donor commitments. There might be 10 grand of this, like that Steve Bridges one, 10, very small percentage that we have to follow up on. So the tier 1 sponsor wall that came in at 290,538. The trees and benches came in at 130,000. The bricks came in at 80,000. Public donations under 400, 4,200. Boot drive 6,700. Ice Dogs partnership 100. Donor wall 6,000. Fire fit event 142. There's some small fundraising expenses. The bottom line is, and it took a lot of work, and Lori deserves all the credit, not me. I had some recollections. She had to piece together back of napkin notes from me, emails with me and friends and handshakes and stuff like that. But our total now is just north of $518,000. And you will recall that our original RFP was for 440. We had increased it to 480 to include the second figure on the bronze. And so far, the contractor is holding rates. We understand there's going to be some ancillary costs with it. So obviously, once we got through the exercise, we were extremely pleased that we exceeded our fundraising target. And I can tell you from experience, and it's not me, it's this community, raising $500,000 is not an easy task for something like this. So everybody deserves some credit for that. As it relates to the installation now, the vast majority of the work that we're all doing is tracking down what people once said in their various donations. We've completed that process for the tier 1 sponsors, and we're halfway home on the trees and benches. This is an administrative thing. I am trying to do some of it. I got some help with me. Lori is understaffed. She's trying to do some of it. So it's really just getting people to commit. We also have to do one more final email with St. Catharines Club members. We just don't want anybody to be left out in case they want to have their recognition. So, and the contractor wants to basically get the vast majority of everything done and come in on a whatever amount of days, 2, 3 days that it'll take to do a full install. There's a street closure, a permit necessary for that, versus doing it in dribs and drabs. It makes much more sense for her to do it that way. We did get a little concession on the bench plaques. They're going to be a little bit larger than we thought. The tree plaques look fantastic. Again, just tracking down people committing in writing to what they want on it. One item that did surprise us mildly was the pathway bricks will not be something that people can participate in the future. When we started this process, there was discussion around having X amount of bricks blank, and then people down the road could potentially donate and get engraving. That can't happen because of the way they affix them and seal them. So we had targeted 240, or I'm trying to remember, but was our original target. Whatever the number is that we end on, and they'll configure them to look, symmetrical. But that's going to be it for the pathway brick. So that was new to us. That's that. And then the final one is the pedestal. So the pedestal, going by memory again, I think it's 36 inches, maybe 3 feet or so high. We have 4 panels to display on that. So the 4 panels will be the CFC Supply. They're the ones that donated it, so they'll get their logo on one panel. The St. Catharines Club logo will go on one panel. It'll be the only, all the other donations we had naming opportunity with, we turned it all down. The club's not a functioning entity after October 31, but that'll be a bit of a legacy thing and just acknowledge that the members of the club decided to contribute to that park, and then that logo will be there. All the various 1,000 and up donors will be acknowledged on one of the panels as well. So that's the spot for them. And then we intend to put the members of this task force, past and present, on the 4th panel. So, and there was some value in kinds, a couple through our commercial printing, some accommodation. They'll also go on that 1,000 and up recognition panel. So last point for me on this is I did see one bronze. They're being made separately. And, there was that took way longer than all of a sudden, including the contractor, like a year longer than we thought. But the one I saw was spectacular. And the picture was incredible. It's hard to glean on a picture, in fairness, but I'm very optimistic that that's going to be a high impact item when we get it. And so that is, I'm going to move to sort of a few next steps and things that are underway, but I'll pause for a minute in case there's any questions. That is a fulsome summary of where we landed with all the fundraising and all the events and everything we did, and where we're at with respect to the donor side of things. Ryan.
Hi, just at this point, when you just talked about all the donors and everything, grateful to all the donors. But since our last meeting in February, the whole thing transpired with the St. Catharines Club. So I just wanted to say on the record how appreciative and grateful we are to you and all the rest of the members for making that massive donation to get us to our fundraising goal. So thank you.
That was the tipping point. We announced it that night. We had fun that night. Lori was there, Chief was there. Mary, you were away, unfortunately, I think at Great Lakes or something. And but it was a good one. And if you look at that, that was in the $55,000 range. And there's still opportunity for a top up there, because once the fiscal year ends October 31st, any residual funds will be distributed pro rata to the 8 recipients that evening. So there actually could still be a top up. But if you math it out from 480 to 520, And that thing put us over the top. So, yeah, that was a good one. I was glad to have it out of the way. You're welcome. Anyways, so donors are in, funds are there, and we have work to do on getting all the engraving done. And I bring it up because if you were involved in any of that, um, and it's worthwhile double checking with either somebody that you brought in, or we just want to make sure that whatever messaging people want, logo, etc., that's done right. This is engraved in stone. Like, it's not a thing that's easy to switch if we make a mistake on it. So we're trying our best to get that done as quickly as we can. Next part of this is the installation itself, which has been happening sporadically. As stated, the contractor wants to sort of do this all at once. So we are at the mercy of some of these. We've had no shortage of deadlines, Lori, myself, and the chief, on getting this information in, and they just keep getting extended, but we're getting there. And I think it'll be worth it all at the end. I don't know if there's anything else that's happened, either with the contractor or the city, and any of the people involved at the city level. Chief, if you've had any interaction, the one item I had to bring up was that we're going with solar powered lighting. At this point in time, it was sort of missed, frankly, and to get the power necessary stepped down from the transformer that's there to hardwired lighting. We sort of have tabled that as a potential future installation or future inclusion. I simply don't know the veracity or the quality of solar powered lighting. So we had a discussion around it, and just determined for it, so as to not delay anything any longer. And the fact that it's already been budgeted for and included in the price, we'll go with that. But there is part of me that says that's something we may want to switch down the road. But other than that, Chief, do you have anything on the city or building?
No, just pretty much what you've mapped out, and we're just waiting for all the engraving to be done and the second statue to be finished. Ryan,
Right. Yep.
over to you.
Yeah, thanks. So we're just finalizing the list of the names that will be engraved. And we've got almost all of the all of the names confirmed with family members. Couple it's impossible to reach, but at any rate, what we were thinking is first, last name, and the year that they passed. I'm interested to hear if the committee's happy with that or if you had different point of view.
Makes sense to me. I'm trying to remember. I've been to enough of them. I think they just the way they do them. Like, I remember Colorado, because different, right? Because it's huge. They have the year. There's like 2012, then everybody from that year, then 2013, and everybody from that year. So
We could do that.
no, I think it makes more sense. What number are we at, Ryan? How many are you at?
I think we're at about 23.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you'll have massive gaps in decades, right? In years
Yeah.
and that. So I would just put it right on there. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I know we've asked through Lori and the chief to make sure that list is um and but I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, really it's just an administrative process now. And when it's all in and all the engraving is done, I mean, you're talking, you know, probably 150 to 200 pieces of engraving, right? So there's a lot there to ensure that everybody, and we don't really have admin support. So we're doing it. I'm my part's easy. I handle the majors and the trees and benches, and it's Lori and her team. Although I have somebody from the St. Catharines Club tracking those ones down. So, so that's the process. And when the engraving is completed, I mean, we really wanted to get in before bad weather this year. We really thought we had that. I don't know where it's going to land. I don't know enough about when you can and can't do that. But right now we're just at a stage where, um, with all the funds being raised, we just want to get it right now. There's really no impediment to installation at this point in time. It's simply a question of us getting all the engraving done. Questions, comments, concerns? Nobody? Okay.
I will just jump in and say fantastic job, Barry, Lori, everybody who was involved. I came into this, very deep into the process, and I've just been very impressed with the fact that, this has continued to roll forward and get the job done. So congratulations to everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, we've had, yourself, you've been a ardent supporter of this since the beginning, even when you're on council, as with Mayor Sendzik. So we've had great support from the city. Took a lot longer than we thought, but Ryan, we first started talking about it in 2013. So what's an extra year, right? And anyway, and it'll be done right. And again, my biggest takeaway is we need to budget for administrative support on this if we do one of these again. Lori?
To your point, Barry, our donors have been very generous, but they've also been very patient. So we started collecting donations in 2022, I believe it was.
Yep.
And we did have one of our early donors contact us about getting a potential refund because they were just frustrated by the process. I think we were wildly optimistic at certain points during this process that we were close to the finish line. I'm wondering if it might be prudent for us to put together a quick update. Maybe we could put on the city's website, maybe some photos of the bronze sculptures now that we know that they're done, just to provide everyone who has donated and has been patient with us that we are still, we're good to go. And we're looking forward to finishing up this project as soon as possible, that we are in the final stages.
Yeah, well, we were smart enough to launch it at the beginning of COVID, right? So how does everybody feel about that? I think it's a good idea. I'd like to get pinned down on the the picture and the content. And I don't want to, I think we need to be careful on timing. So I just don't want us to commit to something and miss another deadline kind of thing. But a progress update and all the money collected and statue completed and even a call to action if you've donated and you want to double check on your the wording related to it or something along those lines. That makes sense to me. What's everybody's feeling on that? Good. All right. That's just an action item. I don't think we need to vote on that one, right? So we'll take that away as an action item. Laura, you and I can maybe huddle up on that one. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, well, thanks everybody, and appreciate everyone's patience. As I said, we call the meetings. We all felt after the last thing that we sort of had a bit of a capstone coming. So our next, I'll stay in touch via email, and hopefully we're going to have a target construction date, installation date very soon. At which time we'll have to convene and talk about how we're going to manage the opening ceremonies and all those kind of things. So that'll be something to look forward to. Having said that, I need a motion to adjourn. Mayor, seconded by Chief Upper. All those in favor? Okay, thanks again, everybody, for your time. Be in touch.
Thanks for
Thank
such
you,
great work.
everybody.
Thank you.